Private Jack here, and I'm reporting from 1916. It's World War I, and I'm here to tell you about the weapons that we are currently using to fight off the enemy.
First weapon I'll talk about is the Lee Enfield rifle. This has been the British Army's standard weapon from 1895 until 1957. It is a bolt-action, magazine-fed rifle, and also known as a repeating rifle. For those who don't know what that is, it is a single-barreled rifle with multiple rounds inside. The man who invented the Lee Enfield rifle was called James Paris Lee. He was a Canadian-Scottish man and lived from 1831 to 1904. Moving on to machine guns, this is one of the many reasons why going over the top is very hard. As you are clambering over the deep, muddy, slippery trench, trying to avoid barbed wire and mines, the enemy was firing at you with these. As it was such a powerful gun that could fire 400 to 600 caliber rounds per minute, it needed a gun crew of 4 to 6 men. It also needed a tripod to help keep the gun stable while firing. The first automatic machine gun in World War I was called the Maxim machine gun. This was invented by Sir Hiram Maxim, who lived from 1841 to 1916.
You're probably wondering why I'm hiding under here. It's because the Germans are shelling us and we need to take cover. Phew! Glad that's over. Shells were a real problem in war for all the soldiers.
World War I shells generally looked like this. They were fired from trench to trench and exploded when they landed, releasing a horrible gas, either mustard gas or chlorine gas, to kill the enemies. The term shell shock was at first thought to be caused by soldiers being exposed to exploding shells, but later we realised that it was just due to all the horrors of war being seen, and then psychological symptoms evolving from that. World War I was the first war where aeroplanes were actually used. The first types of bomber planes were where the pilot sat next to a bag of grenades and threw them out over massively populated towns and cities. Later, they then had the bombs attached to the underside of the wings with a release mechanism that dropped them over the cities to hopefully destroy all the inhabitants. Bombs weren't the only weapons on an aircraft. There was also a Vickers machine gun which was mounted onto it so it could shoot down enemy aircrafts or zeppelins. The way it didn't hit the propellers was because it was put on an integrated timer, which meant that the shots were only fired when the propeller was not in the way. The aeroplane itself, as I'm sure you all know, was invented by the Wright brothers, but it was later developed for use of war by the Royal Air Force. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you've learnt a lot about the weapons used in World War I.